Uh-oh, there we go. Now we're ready.
Okay,
it's no fair.
so
She looks good and I just look silly. There we go. Yeah. So we got the queen and the jester.
I think you look cute, actually.
Yes, it's helpful since you're my
Okay,
wife.
so welcome back.
Proof of past and future lives.
Mhm.
So we were ending up, it was an interesting discussion that Ina and I had a bit of a disagreement at the end of the last class. She was saying that the mind was caused by karma.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, well, if karma is the movement of the mind
Mhm.
and what it brings, how can the mind be caused by karma? Uh, and and I was also thinking, well, the mind is beginningless and endless. So then could you run out of this mental seeds? Could you run out of the karma to have a mind? I mean, that didn't make sense to me either.
Mhm.
And Geshe had said things before, like, like when he's doing the pen that he likes to do so often. And he talks about like mental seeds, like you see yourself doing an action, and he talks about how it's like a fingerprint pressed into the mind, right? Like your action is pressed into the mind. Well, so how is it that the mind is a product of karma if karma is printing itself on the mind? And then also, so these types of thoughts are going through my head. Uh, and uh, and then of course I'm reviewing it, and Master Dharmakirti, and Geshe Michael in the class says, well, yep, the mind is a product of mental karma. Uh, and it's interesting because Lena and I have discussed it quite a bit since then. Uh, I had over the years kind of like adopted this version of the mind that was kind of its self-existing functioning thing outside. Uh, and like, oh, okay, well that's interesting, right? It's almost like almost falling down to some kind of slightly more subtle version of a Christian soul, right? Like the mind is going to continue on.
Which is mind only in Buddhism.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and so like I was kind of mm, like,
Caught yourself in mind only thinking.
well, it's kind of like the foundation consciousness, right? In the mind only school, where they have the five sense consciousnesses, eye, ear, that's my ear, right? Eye, ear, nose, taste, and touch. And then they have the foundation consciousness, uh, uh, the kunchi, the storehouse consciousness, but it's foundation consciousness and negative consciousness. And so I was uh, kind of stuck with this self-existent foundation consciousness in my mind. But anyway, to clear it up, what do you have to say on this subject? It's been fascinating, frankly.
What I have to say on the subject that if you are just doing first courses, you probably do not understand what Bill just said.
Oh, no.
Which is fine. And for me, the takeaway from the discussions with Bill is that you should always ask yourself when you look for answers like, oh, does mind come from seeds or something like, first, what school are you in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And second, remember that nothing comes from nothing. So in our teachings, there is no self-existing objects, right? But different schools, they have tendencies to lean to the idea that there is a little bit something self-existing, right? And this is usually their weak points. Like, for example, Bill reading for last year mind-only books, like maybe you just didn't notice how you like he has fallen in love with the mind only school. And my takeaway from this is like, first, when you study cool books, do not forget which school it is written in, because Jetson Kappa will be writing mind-only book, and he will be supporting mind-only ideas, because he has to stay in the mind-only perspective. He will be writing logic book, and it will be logic school perspective, etc. We had classes with the debate master in Sarah May. We were studying another Jetson Kappa book, where he says that actually samsara will never be really emptied out. I mean, there'll still be something in samsara that will stay. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that was I was really irritated when he said that. So we decided he was ignorant, got up and left. No, this is what happened.
So the task of your debate master is not to provide you easy, like chewed already truth. The task of your debate master is make you think, and not to give you pret-a-porter, like readily available answers. The issue with Western education is that it gives something to remember, but it doesn't teach to think. And people, they do not have this beauty of the journey when you are starting from your completely ignorant state, and then you ask yourself questions, you ask other people questions, you really put effort in the journey, and then when you get to the answer, you're like, wow.
It does seem to be like in math class, right? And then if the teacher just gives you the answer, well, you can walk through it and okay, yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, okay, that's easy, right? And then when you have to go figure it out yourself, it's not as easy. But if you learn how to figure it out yourself, then you have the knowledge. Then you understand the problem if you figure it out for yourself. And it seems to me that the Buddhas, in their infinite wisdom, are very good at giving us problems to figure out on our own, so that the realizations are ours and not just something we've memorized, right? Not just something that's cultural.
Yeah, because it will not work for you, right? If you just have a belief in something, like some of us believe in karma, some of us believe in science. Like I have very difficult time to get rid of my strong scientific beliefs, right? So basically, from the perspective of Sutrist school, mental comes from mental. It's true, right? This is why we have this material cause, Nierlinkigyu. Just yesterday, somebody was asking me in the chat a question about how physical can come from a mental seed, etc.
Yeah.
So if it's your first course in logic, it will take you some time to understand the relationship between these different schools of the thought. And I don't want to get you to make you scared, but basically almost everything that the logic school believes is incorrect in the highest school. And it is almost diametrically opposed to the beliefs of the highest school.
And just real quickly, I know that, if you're newer here, or, if you're not real familiar with the schools, the first school is Abhidharma school. The second school is the Sutrist or the Logic school. Third school is mind only. The fourth school is the middle way, and that's divided into the Svatantrikas and the Prasangikas, or the independent school and the consequent school. And so in each one, their idea of what's happening in your world is getting more subtle, more sophisticated, and a little harder to understand, because for everybody who's not already an Arya, we think the world exists outside of ourselves. And so in order to get us to an understanding of it, they're going through more subtle levels. And the Buddha taught all of these schools, right, in order to help us go through steps. So for this class, this course, we're in the second school. Logic is the Logic school. It's the second school, also sometimes called Sutrist.
Let me remind you about main ideas, about like 3 main ideas that are going between the schools for you to understand. So we had ACI 1, which was from the perspective of the highest school. Don't forget, different ACI courses are written from perspectives of different schools. So ACI 1 was the highest, Madhyamika Prasangika, or consequences school. ACI 2, independence, right? Madhyamika Svatantrika. This is the school I just mentioned, the book he was writing, Jetsun Kappa, within this school, when he wrote that, oh, you know what? Actually, samsara will never be really emptied out. There will be something left there. Buddhists will have some work to do. This is why. And of course, it's not the highest understanding. But he wrote it, right? And the second ACI is in Svatantrika, or independent branch, low branch of the highest school. Then the third one was, again, from the perspective of the highest school. And now you are in the second school, School of Logic, that gives a little bit higher understanding than the basic one that you didn't even touch, because it's ACI 5. It's the next one, actually. But also is really basic. It's a lower school.
And don't, if this stuff is all swimming around in your head, don't be worried. If you, as you get exposed to the ideas, it'll start making more sense. And then it takes, like a lifetime to master it. Adam was just in the mixed nuts class, and, he's translating the books now. And he was saying that his goal someday was to be able to understand all 4 schools well enough to argue from the perspective of any one of them. And so it's not something we're going to master in these 18 classes, and you don't have to master them yet, right?
They have to.
Well, eventually, right? If you want to get out, if you want your Christmas list to really get filled and have everything you want, you're gonna have to master it, because it's how you're creating your world.
Yeah. And don't worry, you will learn all these ideas, all these names. They will be like your close family, believe me.
Well, and just
this is what will happen.
And just the idea from this course of a material cause, right? Like, where is the mind coming from? A previous moment of mind, right? And so that I mean, that's a really powerful idea, right?
Wait. I wanted to remind the differences between the schools and
Well, do we want to do a whole Tranye course? I mean, that could be,
no,
that's well, I know, but that's like course 15. It's a lot to do.
no, just briefly.
Okay.
For every school, you should remember two things. What does the school think about what does not exist? Gacha, right? And what does the school think the ultimate reality is, right? So Abhidharma and Logic, the school we are in right now, are kind of similar.
Well, Abhidharma and Logic are two different schools.
Yeah, from the perspective of Gacha and emptiness, they share kind of the idea. So what they
and you recall the Gaksha is the thing that we deny, the thing that isn't there.
So what we think that does not exist is something that is your idea. Like ideas, concepts are not real in these schools. It's almost completely opposite to the highest school. And what they think is real, like this object is real. It has the ultimate nature.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it functions. A functional thing in logical school is the ultimate reality. They say there is an object, but you have all these ideas, like your ideas, your interpretations. This is what spoils everything in your life, right?
Yeah, they're going to believe in like some kind of physical particle that's outside of you that exists, and some kind of
atoms, right?
Atoms. And there's a discussion around that, but like atoms, basically.
Yeah.
And then they're also going to believe in indivisible moments of time. Like there's units of time that are as small as what it's possible to get. So that's there's a physical world for them that exists independent of your mind observing it.
Yeah. So, and what does not exist, right? The Gaksha is in the school is what? Basically what does not function, right? So it's a little bit like there are different flavors, but the opposite of functional thing. If something does not function, then it doesn't exist. Ultimately. So I think we will.
We can leave it at that. Yeah. No, it's a big subject, and we need to actually do the class.
There are details.
It's a really fun subject, though. I mean, it's really interesting to look and see.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on in your world, right?
And in these two lower schools, there is no even a concept of emptiness. I mean, they talk about selflessness, and this is their type of emptiness. Then we go to mind-only school. Mind-only school says that.
Are you going to do the mind-only?
just in two words, like. First, they say that subject and object, they come from the same seed, right? And they say that basically, what was the second one? The names, right? That this should not be named a cup by definition. These are their big two ideas. And they have, let's not go to the idea of, let's not go to emptiness because it's kind of a bit complicated in the school, but basically these are the ideas. And then we go, basically they think that we are covering any object with our mental image, right? Then we go to the higher idea in the independent school. They say subject and object, object exists only in the presence of subject. So they say like 50-50. there is something, some raw data that I perceive as a cup, but half of this perception comes from me. Half is here, there is an object, but it exists only if there is somebody to see it. And then the highest one says like, there is no cup if I don't have mental seeds that open and create the reasonable basis and the cup. So now where we are.
Now, so proof of past and future lives. So we were discussing the material cause, the Nirlangigyu, and that how mind comes from a previous moment of mind. And then we're examining whether or not your body, the physical body, could be producing your mind. And then we've talked about some things like physical matter being different than the nature of mind, right? That
we have covered several proofs already, 6 of them last time.
And so then we're going to go through, we've got 4 more proofs today that classic proofs of why your mind will continue on and why your mind is not the product of your body.
And because we had a bit of a break, right? I want to connect it to like why it matters. You remember we were talking about valid perception, about people who have only accurate, only correct perception, Tsema Kyabo. This course is not only to prove past and future lives, but also if you do it with some quality, I mean, review all the homeworks, all the meditations, then you will prove to yourself that nirvana and Buddhahood exists also, right? And so by the 8th class, we are...
And that's important because you can prove that it's possible to end your suffering.
Yeah.
You know, that you're not just stuck here in this in this suffering world. And you know, destined to lose your consciousness, lose your mind, and then that's the end of it.
And that you can do something better with your life and it will really work, right? So basically to convince yourself that you can do something that will work. So, and Master Dharmakirti, he is, and Dignaga also, obviously, as the first one, they were discussing with Charvakas that are like modern scientists, right? They believe only in what they see in the phenomena, and they say, kind of, we believe that there could be a path to enlightenment, like you could develop bodhicitta and get enlightened, except, guess what? You don't have that much time. You would need a lot of time, like billions of years. And you have only one short life. And then Master Dharmakirti said, we don't have one lifetime. We have past and future lives. This is why the past works. And here we are. He's proving to them that with the, like when the car stops, the driver doesn't die, basically. When the body stops, it does not mean the mind is dead, right?
Well, and it makes a big difference to us as an individual if you're not going to lose the results of your actions, right? For better or for worse. And frankly, I like the parallels with Christianity. I mean, this is where...
Slow down.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm going to get more excited and talk faster as the class goes on. I'm not even drinking caffeine. And this is where Jesus says, don't store your treasures on earth where bugs and rust are going to destroy it. Store them in heaven. And so it means that, your karma, your deeds are going to follow on. You're not going to lose it. Lots of things, but it makes a big difference, right? In how you're going to act if you're sure that what you're doing is going to produce a result, whether or not it's going to come to you in this body, right?
Mhm.
So
Okay, so let's go. We have done, Master Dharmakirti already presented the Nierlenkigyu idea, right? He actually,
material cost.
I didn't appreciate, Geshe Michael said in the class, he actually violates the rules of logic because usually you do not invent something that your opponent does not accept. And he did, Master Dharmakirti. He said like, okay, do you believe in any kind of cause and effect, right, in your life? Yeah, we do believe if you put an acorn in the dirt, there will be an oak tree. Or like if you drink too much coffee in the morning, then you will have to find somewhere where to run.
Or it's why your kids go to school, right? It's why we go to school.
Yeah,
So
we believe that there is some connection between phenomena, right?
Right.
Between
what you
events.
learn today will change what you're capable of.
And this is where he caught them, because this proof is not the ultimate proof, right? It's his way to show to us, to our internal charvakas, that even if we use this kind of low-level logic, it is still incorrect according to this logic, that the body dies and the mind dies. They die together, right? Okay, so we did 6 proofs. When he presented the arguments about Nierlenkigyu, we were talking about 3 things: mind, breathing of a baby, and sense powers, right? And we also we talked already about physical stuff, that the mind does not come from 4 elements, right? Or from like part of these 4 elements, one of them. And here we are. We can start with the slides. Okay, so yeah, now we are with living tissues, which they're equivalent of sense organs, right? Sense powers like seeing, hearing, etc., smelling.
This one's pretty straightforward, actually. So they're going to say that if the mind is a product of the body, then it's a product of the sense powers, right? That's what the body is. The body is your eye consciousness, your ear consciousness, sense of smell, taste, and touch. And that, so they're going to say, well, if these things are what's producing your mind, if your body's producing your mind in the form of these sense consciousnesses, then if you damage one of the sense consciousnesses, you should have damaged your mind, right? So
like you get blind and then you lose your mind.
You've lost 20% of your mental functioning, right? And then if you can't smell, so like when COVID happened and we couldn't smell anything. So like, was our mind 20% damaged when that happened?
Maybe we just didn't notice.
And so we're going to say, and I think, honestly, you can do something like go into a sensory deprivation tank. And I mean, you can't see anything, hear anything, taste anything. I mean, maybe a little bit of salt water, but after a while, I don't think you'd even notice that. You're not feeling anything. What am I missing? Hearing. There's nothing going on in your mind, but it's your mind's still fully functioning, right? I mean, you haven't damaged it, you've just turned off the inputs. But I think it's a clue that your mind is still functioning even when your senses aren't being stimulated. And And frankly, you can see this when you meditate, right? You withdraw into yourself, and I mean, you're not engaging with the sense consciousnesses like that. So I think this one's for me was fairly easy to see that your mind is separate from your sense consciousnesses like that.
Yeah, and from scriptures, there is another example. I mean, if we accept scriptures and the school of logic, another name is sutrists. So they do accept scriptures only from Buddha Shakyamuni, practically, but they do. And so in scriptures, they talk, or he talks about formless realms.
Yeah, that's interesting that you were going to bring that up, because that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. But please go with it. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's just it, that beings there do not have any sense powers.
Yeah.
They have only their mind. They do not have even their body.
And when you first hear about things like the form realm and then the formless realms, it sounds pretty fantastic in the sense that it's hard to believe, right? Because it's so different than where we are as humans. But
if you meditate
and go around and frankly hang around other people who are meditating, there's a reason why they're not just making this stuff up, right? There's a reason why they're writing about the form realm and the formless realm. People have actually gone out there and done it.
Yeah.
And so
even meditators that are not Buddhist or like loud tracks meditators, they access these realms and they talk about it.
I've seen it here. I've seen it here in the United States. There's a group that's having good success with meditating. They don't have any emptiness teachings, and they're very fascinated with having been able to get to the higher levels of meditation, the form realm, and I think some of them are getting to the formless realm. And they're writing about it. And my first thought was like, well, that's odd. What's going on? Then I saw the Buddhist scriptures where they described it, and it was exactly what they were describing in completely non-Buddhist terms. So it's possible.
Okay, so the next one is proof number 8, right? Let's consider the main mind. It provides the basis for sense powers because it projects them. So they would, Master Dharmakirti actually, he flips over the argument of Charvakas, who says that, oh, the sense powers, they provide the basis for the mind. And he says, no, it's the vice versa. The mind, and also do not forget that we are in the Sutra school. So it is not exactly the same in the highest school, right? Because mind also comes from seeds. So, and when we say the seeds are stored in the mind, it's actually not exactly right? According to the highest school, our karma is stored in what we call me, right? This is the highest view here.
And so here, Master Dharmakirti is saying, well, like Ina just said, it's not that the sense consciousnesses are producing your mind, it's that your mind is producing the sense consciousness. And honestly, I don't know that this would work very well with somebody without some kind of familiarity with this worldview. But it's true.
Yeah, and Geshe Michael says the same. He says, I'm not really convinced that Charvaka bought this one.
Yeah. That's a little bit like I mean, and frankly,
he's showing off. Not only it is not from sense powers, but it is the vice versa. Sense powers come from the mind.
I mean, and I've got to be honest, I'm still having problems with the idea that karma is movement of the mind and what it brings, and the mind is a result of karma. I mean, it goes around in a circle a bit, right? And so like, well, if karma is the mind, which came first, the mind or karma? Is beginningless. Yeah.
Beginningless, right. So basically, okay, for those of you who are confused, your mind pushes you to create karma. And your karma creates everything around you, including your mind. More or less, this is the way.
Yeah.
So, and this is perfect and correct because nothing is self-existent. If there would be mind that is self-existent, then we could not change it, right? Everything is completely empty. From the point of view of the highest school, which we are not in that school yet here. So basically, karma projects the new life and physical forms. Karma projects new mind and the physical forms in the new life. And it is the cause of sense powers also.
Okay. Ready to go to the third one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me read the previous, because I don't think we have fully explained the answer. So, karma that consists, or like correct, probably would be more correct say to created, right? Creates our thoughts and bodily and verbal acts that these thoughts inspire, projects in our upcoming life, the physical form including, and mind basically is the basis of the physical senses and not the opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, next one. So, my love, how the mind keeps going itself in this life? I do not understand.
Yeah, it's by karma, right? Like karma's driving everything. And then it's fascinating because they're saying that's why you're getting old, is that you're losing the goodness that it took to be a human. The the one grain of sand on a beach, right? It took an immense amount of goodness to get the body, and then because we're not serving other people at the same rate that we're burning up the good seeds, that we're getting old, our body's losing its functioning. And then eventually what happens is it runs out enough that you lose the karma to have this body, and then your mind gets projected on to some other life. Depressingly enough, in this worldview, like off to someplace where you won't have the resources you need. It's interesting because somebody says, well, if the body's not producing the mind, why is it so often that it's the decaying of the body that results in death, right? That results in the apparent loss of your mind.
Yeah. There are contributing factors also, right?
Yeah, that's also...
for example, you can be heavily sick and still alive. Or like we can have, there will be a question like why similar people like can have similar issues, like look similar because they have similar karma, right? Like I'm a medical doctor, and medicine is based on genetics, right? So we believe in chromosomes and genes, and then, like in my family, there is a gene of diabetes running, right, and of high blood pressure, right? But from the materialistic perspective, which is lower than even Abhidharma, which like Charvakas would believe, they would say, yeah, okay, you have some kind of material cause for it, right? Like a gene. Gene is, it's easier to think that there is a gene that is broken, and then the whole family has all this issue. But if you will think like, if there are no genes, or meaning there are genes, but there is a cause for these genes, right? What is the goal? The cause to have this? The gene does not explain anything. Why do I have a broken gene? Because I am born with similar people. Like around me, there should be similar people. Should be people who have same habits, like I don't know, whatever it takes to develop diseases, So, and basically, even without habits, there should be people having same issues just because of the laws of karma, right? And because of the four results. The third result is the famous third flower is that my seeds are not only producing myself, but also people around me. And the closest people, by definition, should have a lot of similar things. So this is how it explains family diseases, etc. But from the same exact disease, somebody will die and somebody will live for many years.
And we've seen that before. We've seen people with advanced cancer that was terminal survive in more than one case.
Or your wife just twisted her ankle in Japan, and normally I'm a medical doctor, and I had the exact same happened to me like 10 years ago. I was like, oh my God, probably I will need a surgery, or at the very least a cast, for my ankle. And on day 2, Alessia was there. She can prove. And maybe some other people. On the day 2, I met a doctor who helped me to walk, and I don't have any issues with my ankle. Like, okay, 99% it was healed.
You were functional.
I could walk.
In a good way.
Yeah, I could walk, and I have some kind of discomfort a little bit sometimes, but nothing comparing to what I had to go through. And any medical doctor would tell you the same thing. Like,
yeah,
I took pictures, I sent them, like, ooh, that's 1 month in the cast,
So you're getting older, your body's falling apart, birth, aging, sickness, death, caused by karma. And so then if that's caused by karma, then you should be able to reverse it, right? Like if I'm getting old and getting sick and dying as a result of seeds I planted, it should be able to plant better seeds and get a better result. That's exactly how you get enlightened in one lifetime. That's what the higher teachings are there for, how to work your mental seeds in a way fast enough that, frankly, you don't have to get old and die. And Yeah, I know you see examples of this not just in Buddhist philosophy, but in other philosophies, including Christianity, which is shocking if you've never heard it before. But that's why we're discussing these things, right? So that you know you can get rid of even the suffering of aging, sickness, and death. It's that powerful.
Yeah.
So sounds crazy. Happens to be true.
Only if you will be able to distinguish between the Buddhist schools.
Yeah, you know, it's
I mean, you have to understand the differences between the schools, because every single school is about our incapacity to make this breakthrough. Like I was thinking, I'm not thinking in terms of school of logic, and I caught myself just recently. I was like, wow, I still think in terms of this school, and this is not even mind only. So this school is very similar to some to me it reminds me a lot different psychotherapy approaches and coaching, like, and these are all great stuff. These are things that are helpful because we are climbing on this ladder of 6 flavors of emptiness, and the most difficult ones are first 3, understand that everything is changing and you're not under control, and then that it comes from me. Those 3 are the most difficult ones. Then the leftover is easier because you have already the experience that, oh, I had this breakthrough and I had this breakthrough. Probably they know what they're talking about. Okay, next one. The last proof number 10.
Explain why the mind of a normal person at the moment of death crosses into another state of mind of a similar type.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and I was glad it was, as I was reviewing the class, it was nice to hear Geshe Michael say, so desire, I'm going to skip to the answer. The reason why they're saying is that you have as you die, you have some kind of desire, and it's one of the links in the 12 links of the, yeah, he's going to ring again. In the Wheel of Life, there's the links that are there, and desire is one of the links that's necessary to keep going around the cycle of suffering. And frankly, I was relieved when I was listening to the class, reviewing the class that Geshe Michael did, that he said that he didn't fully understand why desire is doing it. And obviously, it's got to be ignorant desire, right? It's got to be desiring something in an ignorant way, because Buddhas have the desire to see us get out of suffering, right? So that kind of desire isn't what's creating the cycle of suffering. It's got to be some kind of ignorant desire, some kind of wanting something in an ignorant way that's doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I was several times at the edge of death when I was, I don't remember, 4 or 5 years old. I actually didn't have, I was not afraid because I was too young to understand that I can die. But then I was drowning in the river when I was probably 9. And a couple more times. And I remember I had an accident in the car. And when you have a little bit like time before something bad happens, and if it's really bad, you have this freezing fear, like you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. We can stop the slide. So, and people, usually they say they are not afraid of dying because they have never come to the death close enough. And when you come really close, the fear is overwhelming. Like you have this, you can feel this grasping, you know, like this grasping to you, to me. Oh my God, I'm going to end, you know, like, and out of this overwhelming fear, your mind throws this like an arrow, you know, ahead, this desire, I want to be alive, you know, like, and when it happens, you do not understand that you actually just chained yourself to the same type of suffering existence, because when you have this desire, you kind of want to recreate what you've got, you know, the same suffering body and mind, out of ignorance. I don't want to end, I want to live again. And this is the last thought in the mind of a dying person that throws forward,
Projecting
projects the
karma
next,
is what it's called.
The next life.
And then that can be used. This is the story of Geshe Chikawa, right? Who was as the Lojong master, who, as he was dying, was hoping to be able to go to the hell realms in order to help people. And so he just wanted to help. And then the story goes that he was in quite a lot of distress because it wasn't working, and he was only going to end up in heaven.
Yeah, he was very suffering.
As he was crossing over from this world into the next, he was like, "Oh, it's not working. I'm going to heaven."
Yeah, I was very upset.
So maybe we can, if well, let's just get enlightened before that. But if we don't, maybe we can fake it and pretend we're going to hell to help every living being.
Yeah, I was thinking that even Aryas, they have 6 or 7 lifetimes, right? Geshe Michael says
as many as 21.
Yeah, but quite usually it's 6 or 7, and the reason why they have this 6 or 7 lifetimes is because of that. Even Aryas that have seen what they have seen, after their direct perception of emptiness, they still have this strong fear and pain of death that stops them from getting enlightened during the death process. That is actually very difficult, but possible.
And then there's an exception to that if you practice Vajrayana practice, you practice the diamond way, and you do it well, then they say that you can get out in 1 lifetime. You don't have to keep coming back. But anyway,
the whole reason for teaching open teachings is you should go into secret teachings, because this is how you can really practice to do something better than just improve your chances for the better rebirth, or like improve your next lifetime, right?
Yeah, once you get a good grasp of the ideas here, then they'll teach you how to use it, right? In the advanced courses. Somebody. Reap the karma for it.
Yeah. And open teachings give us a way to create karma to meet a teacher who will teach you the diamond way.
To be fair, I have been given all the advanced courses, and Geshe Michael has asked me to teach them to people. So if so someday.
Yeah. I think we have one more slide, right?
Mhm.
And then I have some comment. You can ask questions meanwhile if you have questions.
One more thing on that subject. If you want to go on to the advanced courses with Ina and myself, you have to do all 18 ACI courses. And that means homeworks, tests, meditations, and it has to be all accounted and accredited. So, and that's, and I won't compromise on that personally. It doesn't work if you haven't done it. And if you do, extraordinary things can happen. So, but 100% have to have the 18 ACI courses with all the homeworks.
Okay.
All right.
The last question. What do you think accounts for differences in the bodily form of beings in essentially equal external conditions, right? We talked about it already, right? This is further evidence that what really causes the body is the mind and not the surrounding physical elements. That is, the body's form is determined by the mind in the form of past mental karma and not by atoms. So, we can have similar people in the same family. We can also have totally different people in very similar conditions because of their different mental karma.
Yeah. So one gold bar looks like another gold bar, right? I mean, like, and because it's an element, it has the same characteristics. But people, when you're putting, when the mind is having all of is trapped in a body, has created a body, that body is going to reflect the different actions that created it in the first place. Tall, short, smart, not as smart, so that's coming from prior actions.
And I wanted to tell you about one more thing is this course is not really difficult for me. It's not really difficult. There are more difficult courses than that. This was one of quite easy for me. Except when I was going through these proofs, I was thinking, really? This is the proof? It doesn't prove anything. It's just statements, etc. But these are proofs. They have you can follow the logic and Master Dharmakirti would convince you, right, based on this logic. Of course, we do not study here the whole tree of this logic, of the statement, and where the logic goes. But please use it in your debates groups, because you will do a big service to yourself if you will go through each individual argument that he presents. Nobody will ever be able to convince you that this is not true once you will go through the logic, once you will prove it to yourself first. And we will do it also. Basically, we are doing it every day. Most of our arguments is about Dharma. I remembered one more thing I wanted to tell you. And today we are living in time, if we will not get any questions. So one more thing is that in Saramay, it is very famous. They have these big geshes, right? And we told you a little bit about these geshes, and they really look powerful. I mean, they look both smart and compassionate, right? Together.
Yeah, that was one of the interesting things about being at the monastery, is that the senior geshes, they felt powerful. They felt strong. Like, yeah.
So, and it is very famous that during debates, they will do something kind of incorrectly. I mean, they will take a how you call it, a position that is kind of a little bit weak, and they will not they will not tell you that they are doing it to help you. They will just let you win, and then they will, yeah, okay, so that was like that. Oh, I didn't know. So like really powerful geshes, they will pretend that they have somewhere, like some kind of insufficient knowledge or something, because they want to help you. So I constantly see it around me, and you can pretend you are a big geshe when you will be debating in your group. Okay, you can. It is beneficial to start with a slightly incorrect argument, or like completely wrong, or maybe you can catch yourself on some wrong thinking, and like do not hesitate to defend a weak position, because you will learn a lot by defending this weak position. Okay, see something in the chat. Oh, okay. Debates club. Yeah, we should make another class for people in the debates club, because debates club is debates club when people debate. Otherwise, it's a chat. Okay.
One of the last thoughts I have on this particular class, with Christmas coming in a few days, everybody probably knows that we celebrate the birth of Christ on the 25th.
I think here everybody celebrates.
Yeah. Well, what would the Orthodox Church? It's a different date.
7th January.
Yeah.
But it's same event.
Well, with him coming up, one of the things he says in a couple different places is that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, like, I'm not kidding. Some people, and this is a quote, I'm not kidding. Some people here will see the kingdom of heaven before they die. And truly, I think officially he says, truly, I tell you, there are some here who will see the kingdom of heaven before they die. And then there's a reason he said that. And it wasn't talking about the resurrection of his own body, because he goes on to have an argument with people about why it's possible. After studying this stuff, you see something like that, and you realize that he knew what he was talking about. And it's so.
Yeah.
And I will just, so one person's opinion, I believe it's all related to this. It's all related to this subject. It's all related to the mind and what your mind is capable of. But
basically, we should be, if we believe these teachings, I mean, the highest school, that there is nothing that does not come from my projections, then we can do anything, right? We can have any life we want, but we should be able to, we should be ethical and treat other people the best way possible. Okay.
Do you want to do questions?
There is a question whether we will do a retreat after Ganden Lakyama, because people are practicing for 145 days already. We should talk about it. I mean, yeah, of course we should do a retreat. We should talk about it, how we can help you.
I'm just thinking out loud, maybe an online retreat.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same, because
Yeah.
it's a pity we didn't think to do a physical retreat in the beginning, because it would be really fun.
Oh, that's
but it's kind of too late if they're practicing for almost half a year already.
Well, and it's part of the reason why we're working on generosity in other areas, so that we can just devote
take off.
Yeah, just devote ourselves full time to things that are more fun, like retreats, right?
Yeah.
They're usually like.
And we do plan retreats, and we do plan something offline. Now I'm looking for options to do something in Japan, and we also are thinking to do something in France. So we will think about it, and we will get back to you. It would be actually helpful if we would know how many people would want to do a retreat in both places, Japan and France, because I think these two are the easiest for us and for other people.
Yeah, we could see. I mean, Japan's either one. Yeah, it's 8 hours or 13-hour time zone difference. So
yeah. That. So.
Yeah, we should definitely do something for a Ganlagyama retreat. I don't know when or how right now, but that's definitely something that we should do.
We will do something online. We will think about on an online retreat, and then you do your online retreat. You go on, you practice your next practice, or continue Ganden Lakyama, because even if you have done your retreat and you are not with your teacher close yet, it means you have to continue. Because the reason for the practice is to get close to your teacher.
It's a very profound practice. I am convinced that it was one of the critical steps in my path, and that practice came to me for a reason.
Same here. So, and in some, I don't know, maybe in half a year, in 1 year, we may plan some kind of Sorry, something happened. We are back. So that's it for today. That's it for today. We have one class left. We have unfinished job for January. I think we will have a class on the 4th of January.
And then are we going to do a review class also?
Yes,
we will. So we have 2 classes.
Yeah, 2 classes. The 4th of January, same time. Okay. That's it. Write your questions. We are happy to answer, and it gives us also the opportunity to review our stuff.
And we do want to go to Europe. I don't know if Japan's easy to people, but we do want to see you guys in person. It's really nice, and it would be nice to have some time to spend so that you're bigger than a half-inch square on the screen.
If you have other ideas, I mean, you can discuss with each other, and maybe we will go to, I don't know, Bali or Turkey or somewhere else. We can do it. Better to France. Yeah.
I like France. Yeah, that's an easy one for me.
Okay. Thank you very much, translators. You are amazing. Thank you for all technical stuff, and of course to organizers. I don't know if Lena and Yulia are here, but anyway, Artyom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.